Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to use some products from the Jesse James Magical Mystery Bead Box for June, and we're going to make a really pretty Y-shaped necklace. So they had this tassel in here this month, and I love this. I think it is so cute. So I wanted to do a long Y-shaped necklace with this tassel. So here's what I've got. I'm using a bunch of beads. I'm going to use the tassel, of course. I'm going to use this round wooden bead that was in the box this month for a focal, and I'm going to put this flower on it. And then I'm going to be using all of, or most of, I should say, the wooden beads that were included this month. I thought these were so pretty, and so I'm just going to use them all in this necklace, or a bunch of them anyway. I'm also using these two big sparkly crystals that were in the box this month. I'm using two of these crystals that were in there, and these two bigger ones. I may use all of these. I say I am, but I haven't made this necklace yet. So this is what I've pulled out to work with. Let's put it that way. I have the little cone beads out here too that were in the box because I used most of my aqua beads on my other necklace. And so I really wanted to pull the aqua in though to match this. So I've got these two, these little cone beads, and then all these little rondelles are from my own stash. They're just some little electroplated, like 2mm rondelles. And I like them because they pulled in this aqua pretty perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and use them. Then I have the antique copper daisy spacers from the box this month, and the smaller bead caps, and two of the silver beads. So there's the two silver beads, these smaller bead caps, and these antique copper rondelles. And then I've got a bunch of these wavy spacer beads from my own stash. These are silver wavy spacer beads. I'm going to be using them too. Okay, so that's all of the beading part. Then we're going to need 2 lengths of tiger tail. This is 49 strand bead-along tiger tail, and I've got them cut in 15-inch segments because I've measured on myself, and I know that for a Y necklace, I need 15 inches down to the connection point. Okay, so you'll have to measure that on your own self to know, but that's where I like mine. So I've got 2 15-inch strands of tiger tail. I have this toggle clasp. It's from my own stash. I just thought it was really cute. And then I have some wire guardians and some size 2 bead-along crimp tubes. And we're going to be crimping the ends of our tiger tail when we're done. Okay? So, I think that's everything that you're going to need. And I was just looking for my crimping pliers. And of course, your jewelry tools. Oh, you will need some jump rings and an eye pin or two. I'm not sure how many, probably one. But yeah, some jump rings and an eye pin. Okay? So gather up your stuff and come on back. And we're going to make a necklace. Okay? Alrighty, let me move a bunch of this stuff out of the way. We're going to work first with this, this focal piece right here. So let me get this other stuff. I know I have a ton of beads, but I'm not sure how many I'm going to use. So right here, we're just going to take this focal bead right here. And we're going to hang this tassel right from this, and this little jump ring right from that. Okay, so I'm just going to take an eye pin, and I'm going to go straight up through here. I'm not using any beads on this part. I'm going to keep this very simple. Okay, I am going to bend this at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to, do I want to do a wrapped loop? I think I do. No, I don't have enough eye pin there to do a wrapped loop. Do I have a bigger eye pin? Let me look at my eye pins. I'd kind of like to do a wrapped loop, but I don't know if I have a longer eye pin than that. I don't think. I need like some really long eye pins, and I just don't have any. I don't know if that one's any longer or not. I can't really tell. Okay, well, let's just try it and see what it looks like. Maybe it is. No, I don't think it is. I think I've got enough to do a wrap loop. I'm going to do it. Okay, so we're grabbing this right in the bend, and not with my crimping pliers. Let's do this with my chain nose pliers. We're going to go up, over, and around And I don't have a lot of of wire left, but I'm going to try to wrap this guy up. Yeah, I don't know that this was the wisest. I may just switch it out, but let's see if I can get it to wrap a couple times. I kind of like wrapped loops on, you know, this has got the wooden beads and kind of an earthy feel, so I kind of like the wrapped loop look on there, but I don't know that my wrapped loop here is going to look all that hot, so, because it's just not big enough. I needed a bigger, and I don't have any wire right now, otherwise I would just make my own eye pin out of wire, but I'm having some wire shortage. Alright, so let's just tuck that in. Yeah, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so now we're going to take this guy right here, and I want to hang him to where he kind of goes right here. And in order to do that, I've got to have a couple jump rings. So let me grab a couple jump rings here. So I really want him to hang to where he won't flop around to the back. And if I put this jump ring right on there, he's going to flop around to the back. I'm pretty sure of it. So let's see here. Let's see how I can do this and make it happen the right way. Because, see, this bead is kind of thick, so I couldn't really put him on that eye pin right there. That would have been probably what I would have done if the bead hadn't been kind of thick. So let me take this jump ring and put it through here. I'm going to see if this works. If it doesn't, then we'll move on to plan B, but I think it might. And then I'm going to use this smaller jump ring, and I'm going to attach this on to this one like this. We'll see if this works. And I think when it's hung on the chain, it's going to pretty much hang where we want it to go. And I am going to attach this tassel with a jump ring, just because I don't really feel like my loop there is big enough to just attach it right on. So I'm just going to use a jump ring here, see if I can get this one through. I may have to use a little bit, I am going to have to use a little bit bigger one. So we'll use a little bit bigger jump ring. There we go. And we're just going to attach our tassel right to that bead. And I didn't want to do a whole lot of beading down here. I just wanted this to kind of be the focal. You could use beads, you know, you could do another head pin there or eye pin there with beads. You could do whatever you wanted, but I just kind of wanted mine to be a little bit simple. All right, so now I'm going to take, and I'm going to be hooking my tiger tail right here on either side of these. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my wire guardians, 2 of my wire guardians and 2 of my crimp tubes. And I'm going to go ahead and put the crimp tube on and then my wire guardian here. I'm just going to go up and around. And I kind of would like to attach this directly to this eye pin right here. And I think that's going to work. So I'm going to go back through my crimp tube. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull this because I don't need it to be that long and I don't want to waste a lot of the wire. But I did pull it just a tad too much. We've got to have enough to crimp it. So I like to take my little wire guardians too and kind of smush them together. I just think it makes them sit a little nicer. Let me grab this wire, pull back through just a tad. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, it's a very, you know, I don't have a lot of wire sticking out. Now, one thing that you've got to do here with your crimping is when you're doing wires like this, you have to make sure that your wires are not crossed. They need to be sitting side by side in here, because if they're not, when you go to make the little divot that's going to put them in their little channels, they're not going to sit right. So I had to uncross mine. They were crossed. So make sure that you check that. If yours are crossed, uncross them. Stick your pliers in there and crimp that down. And if you can see, each wire is in its own little channel right there, and that's exactly what you want. And then you're going to take this, you're going to turn it vertical in your pliers, and I usually go up to the second one, and you're just going to crimp it right down, and it's going to make a nice neat little package right there. That's what I call it. It's a little package, and you can go around with your pliers, but there you have. Just pull, make sure it's secure, and we've got one side done. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and do the same thing. Grab your wire guardian and your crimp tube. So putting your crimp tube on first, then the wire guardian. We're going to go right through here, just like this. I'm going to hit it straight onto this jump ring that's in here, and I kind of want to be sure because the jump ring is going to hang that way. So I'm going to put this one kind of right behind the other one, but I just want to make sure they don't get crossed or twisted or anything like that. So just be a little bit conscious of that. Okay, I'm going to put my wires together here. Make sure they're not crossed. I'm going to squeeze my wire guardian together a little bit. I like to do that. I don't know why, it's just my thing. Makes me feel like it looks neater. And then I'm going to take my crimping pliers, go down here in the back where the little divot is, and just squeeze. Okay, and that puts them each in their own little spot. Let me make sure it did. It's kind of wonky. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and I'm going to close it up. And you can close it, then you can turn it and close it again. Just make sure, and it'll make it kind of rounded. Okay, so there we have it. So there are our two wires. They're hooked right to our little piece right here. Let me turn it to the front. Just like this. And it keeps flipping. Okay, there we have it. Just like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do, and I will straighten this up at the end to make sure that the loop is hanging right, because right now it's kind of sideways, but I want to get my beads on first before I worry about that. Okay, so I've got all my beads here. So this is completely up to your own creative control. You just put them on however you want to put them on. I think I'm going to start with a couple of the little ones, just like this. And I kind of like to start with the smaller ones because then I can put them down over the two pieces of wire and they will stay and kind of hold. Well, these may not go over because they're really tiny. But usually they'll go over the two pieces of tiger tail that you've got sticking left there. But these are too tiny, so let's go with a slightly bigger bead. I think I'll use my cone bead. Here we go. Let's try this one. This one should go down over both of the wires. Okay, so I'm going to do a cone bead on the right. Just push it down and see it does go down over the wires there. And a cone bead on the left. And you can use a crimp cover if you want to. I just am not going to because I think it's fine without it. But by all means, if you want to, go for it. Okay, so just like that. Then I'm going to do a couple of my small crimps, or one of my small, or not crimps, rondelles, goodness. One of my small rondelles on each wire. And you can kind of, this wire is almost like a needle, so you can sit here like this if you want and just pick them up like that and let them drop. So just like that. Okay, now I think I will go with a round wooden bead. And then I'm going to do one of these bead caps, I think. Let me see what it looks like on that bead. I don't like bead caps to look like hats on beads. I'm very, 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 very picky about that. People know that about me. If you watch my YouTube channel, that's like one of my big pet peeves. I'm like, I hate when bead caps look like hats. So, but I like the way this looks on these beads. So I am going to do a silver bead cap on each side of the little round wooden bead. Same thing on the other side. Okay. Now, I've got this big crystal. I don't really want to use it just yet. I think I want to go up a little further. So, I think I'll use one of these guys. These are pretty cool. I like all the beads in this month's box. I just think that they're so beautiful. And then I'm going to use this crystal because it's kind of shiny. We need a little shine now. One on each side. I'm going to do another of the little rondelles. Actually, I'm going to do 2 on each side. Come on now, get on there. And it actually is probably going to take all of these beads to go completely up to the top of this necklace because of the Y shape. I want it to, I want it to go all the way up. I'm not going to leave any, I'm not going to attach chain or anything is what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to make it go all the way to the top. All right, so let's do the big bead here now, these big crystal beads. And actually, I think I'm going to do a spacer before it. Let me see what this looks like with those spacers. Yeah, I kind of like that. And a spacer after it. And then 2 more rondelles. So it kind of frames it a little bit. I'll show you here. If you can see, it kind of gives it like a little, just a little frame there. So I'm going to do that on the other side too. Same thing over here. Alright, and then we're going to do another of the round beads. I want to use I think I do want to use the bead caps again. Do I have enough bead caps to do that? I've got those 2. Oh, I don't have any more bead caps. Am I out? Are there more over here? Hang on, there may be more. Oh, there's a bunch more. Why did I not pull all these out? I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay. There's several of these bead caps. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I meant to pull them out, but I just didn't do it. Okay. And we'll do this on the other side as well. Just like this. There we go. Now, this bead is really cool. It's drilled this way. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's got to go on here. It's really awesome. Okay, so we're going to do these next. I love these. Alright, and then I'm going to do this little tube right here. You know what? I need to be getting in some of these spacers. Let me do these. Okay, let's do one facing down. It's going to kind of cup that bead. We'll do one facing up, and it gives it some texture. If you do them this way, these are kind of curved. These are available on my website, but they're kind of curved. So if you do them down, up, it just gives them a little bit of texture. It's kind of cool. I'm going to do that tube bead. We'll go with this guy. So here we have one facing down, one facing up, and one facing down. Whoops. Did I do that right? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. Then we've got our tube bead. Then our crystal here. Okay, I'm going to do my metal spacer on either side. Then I'm going to do this big bead. I think I will do a little rondelle first. I'm going to do 2 rondelles. I'm going to do 2 rondelles, the daisy spacer, kind of like I did before on the other bead. Just like that. Yeah, I like that. And then the daisy spacer again and 2 rondelles. Okay, just like that. We'll do the same thing on the other side. 2 rondelles. Come on now, get on there. Daisy spacer. Big bead. Is the same bead, right? Yes. Actually, I think this one looks better. I don't know why, but I do. Okay. And then the daisy spacer and 2 rondelles. Okay. Just like that. Now, I like this little guy. I want to use him, but I'm afraid he'll eat that rondelle. So let me use this cone bead and then this guy. Yep. Same thing over here. We'll use this cone bead, this guy. Let's see. How about these next? Do I need to use... I'm going to use a spacer here, though. So let's do a spacer facing down, so it'll kind of cup the bead below it, and a spacer facing up, and then we'll use this bead right here. Okay, same thing over here. Spacer down, spacer facing up, and this little bead right here. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do a spacer facing down, a spacer facing up. Just like that. Spacer facing down, and a spacer facing up. Okay. Now, let me see if I have any more. I don't have any more of the bead caps, so I'm just going to do these little guys, just plain. I really like the wood grain in these. These are so pretty. Okay, let's do a couple rondelles. Couple rondelles, and let's see if I have any more of the copper spacers. I don't think I do. I don't. Okay, so a couple rondelles. What do I want to do next? Let's do this guy next. Do I have another one of these? I do. Okay. So 2 rondelles and then that bead. This bead right here. Okay, 2 more rondelles. These little rondelles are just going to give a lot of sparkle in here, which I really love the contrast of the sparkle with the wood. I think it's really cool. Let's put these 2 rondelles on. Okay. Then we're going to do another cone bead. Just like this. Cone bead. Okay, now let's see. Let's do another round one. Actually, let's do a spacer. And then the round one. So a spacer facing up, so it kind of cups it, and then I'm going to do a spacer facing down. So it kind of cups it. Just like that. Spacer facing up. Round bead. Spacer facing down. Okay, and here's what we've got so far. It's looking really pretty. I just love the contrast of the wood and the sparkle. It's so pretty. All right, let me grab some more of my silver spacer, wavy spacers. Don't know what I did with them. I know I had more. Hold on. Okay, I found them. They were right in front of me. Okay, so let's see. I want to do another one of these big ones on each side, but I'd kind of like to put something. There are some bigger bead caps in this. I may use these. So let's look at this. Let's put a bead cap facing, let's see how that's going to do. So I don't really like the way those bead caps cup it. They're not doing what I'm needing them to do. So let's see if I put the bead cap down like this. No? Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Let's take this little tube bead. Let's take this little oval bead like this. Put the bead cap facing down. No. Okay, this is what we do when we're designing and we're trying to figure out what we want to do. So let's see. I do want to use these. So we've got this spacer here. So let's do 2 little rondelles. Like this. And then let's just put this guy on and see. I think that's okay. I wonder what it would look like if I put one of these on here, though. I think I like that a little bit better. Okay. So we're going to do 2 rondelles. There we go. These are so hard to find the holes in. They're so tiny. Okay. And then we're going to do this bead, this spacer bead facing with the cupped part up. Then we're going to put our bead on. Then we're going to do the spacer with the cupped part down. Come on, go on there. Goodness. And 2 more of these little rondelles. Is that going to work? Actually, I'm going to do it with the cupped part up because this bead is drilled to the side a little bit, so it's kind of, it's going to be a little awkward if I put that spacer bead facing down on there. It'll look better if it's facing up. And then I'm going to do 2 more of the little rondelles here. Okay. So just like that. So I'm going to do the spacer facing up and 2 more of the rondelles. Just like that. Oops. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to do a cone bead. A cone bead. Okay. Let's see. Then I've got this guy right here. I think I'll throw on here. This guy. And then I'm going to do the spacer facing down, the spacer facing up, same thing on this side, spacer down and spacer facing up. And then I'm going to put this guy here. These have big holes, so I want to see what it looks like with this bead cap. They have big holes, so I can't do the little rondelles on the ends of them. They sit pretty good in those bead caps. So let's do that. Bead cap. Yeah, those do pretty good in there. Couple rondelles. Same thing over here. So we'll do the bead cap. Put this guy in here. And the bead cap. 2 rondelles. Now I'm getting toward the end, so I've got to remember to save enough room to put my wire guardian and stuff on. So there's 2 little rondelles, 2 little rondelles. Okay. Let's do a wavy spacer facing down and one of these tube beads, just like that. Wavy spacer facing down and a tube bead. and then a wavy spacer facing down, and one of these barrel beads. Okay, so the wavy spacer facing down and the barrel bead. Nope, barrel bead. What am I doing? All right, now we've got two of these guys left, these longer, and I do want to use them. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it on just like this. And then I need to do a wavy spacer facing down and one facing up, because the little rondelles will slide right down inside those beads. So one facing down and one facing up, just like this. Okay, now I'm going to do two little rondelles. I'm going to do a wavy spacer going up and the tube bead. I really like these wavy spacers. They're pretty cool. They give a lot of texture to your project while adding the metal element too, which is what I really do like, the metals. Okay, so we're going to do this one, this tube bead. Now we're going to do the wavy spacer facing down, just like that. Nope, we're going to face him up. I think I like him up better. Okay, just like this. Wavy spacer facing up. And then we're going to finish off with just a bunch of rondelles. So I'm just going to put several on here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so probably looking like maybe 10, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, that's just going to leave me enough to get my my closure on. So I'm going to go ahead and close up this side, because if I put those on over there, they're just going to fall off while I'm trying to do this. So let me go ahead. I'm not going to worry about hooking the toggle right onto this. I'm going to close this first, and then I'll hook the toggle on with a jump ring, because it would be too tight, I think, to try to get it on here like this. Okay, so we're going to go around our wire guardian. Shove that down there. Back through our crimp tube. And then through a bead or two. And then if you can grab this with your plier, that's the easiest way to do it. If you have a lot left over, you're in better shape than me. I'm cutting it pretty tight here. So let me grab this with my plier and pull it tight. And I do want to get it down through a couple of these beads if I can. So let me try to do that. Oh, but this tiger tail was kind of thick. I don't know if it'll, well, yeah. Well, no, it's not going to. Yeah, it's not going to go through these rondelles. Okay, so I'm just going to put it through the other part of put it back through the crimp tube, pull it tight like this. I don't normally like to leave these sticking out like this. I like to tuck it through a bead or two, but these little rondelles are just too tiny. So it's going to have to be that way. So I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to make sure that my wires are not crossed, and they're not. They're side by side in there. Pull it down tight. You don't want there to be a lot of room for movement. You want this to be pretty tight. And crimp it. Turn these sideways and crimp it. Okay, and then we're just going to take our wire cutter and just trim this. Like I said, I don't like to normally trim it that close. I like to have this going down through a bead or two, but it's just not going to do it this time because these rondelles are so little. Okay, I do want to make sure that's not sticking out though, because that'll poke you. There we go. And make sure that your crimp is just closed up tight, because you don't want this coming undone. So pull on it. You want to make sure. It's better for it to come undone now. And I just dropped half my beads off there. Did you see that? It's better for it to come undone now than it would be later. And I'm not going to make you watch while I restring this, but lesson learned, or lesson to everybody. Yeah, watch out when you're picking your other strand up. Remember that you have loose beads on it. I'll be right back once I string them. Okay, so that was a very rookie mistake. I restrung it, and I finished off this other side, so you wouldn't have to suffer through watching me do that. And now we're going to put on our toggle clasp. So my toggle bar, I'm going to attach with about 3 jump rings. And the reason for that is sometimes if your toggle bar is attached too closely to the rest of your necklace, you can't get it through your toggle ring. I don't think that's going to be a problem here because we've got a bunch of little, you know, rondelles that would slide through, but I'm gonna use 2 jump rings actually to attach it, just to kind of be safe and make sure that it's gonna get through that ring okay. So I'm just gonna put my toggle bar on with 2 jump rings, make sure they're closed up really good, just like that. And then my clasp I'm going to put on over here just with 1 jump ring. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second, once I get this on. Okay, so if you look at this, it's got enough room to get through here. There's enough skinny stuff right here. If this was down here close to this bead, it would not be able to go through there very easily. So I don't know, just watch that when you do your toggles, because they can get really difficult to get through wherever you're trying to, you know, there's got to be room down here for it to go through easily. Okay, so that is our necklace. It is really, really long, and I really, really like it. I love the colors in this month's box anyway. They're just gorgeous, but with these wooden beads, these aquas, so, oh, they're stunning. So I'm going to hang this on this form, and I will show it to you. I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is. I've got it pulled up kind of short on the form because I don't have a longer, I've got to get like a dress form or something. I had asked in my Facebook group for advice on what people use to show their long necklaces. So I got a bunch of suggestions. I'm going to follow through on some of those, but I don't have one right now. So anyway, I had to pull it up kind of tight. But you know, the end of it just beads all the way up to the toggle. So you know what that looks like. But I think it turned out really pretty. I just love these colors, like I said. They're just, the aquas are so pretty with the wooden and then the metals. It just all is just so pretty. So I really like the box this month. I know I've said that, and I just really, really did. So if you guys are interested in subscribing, I'll have a link in the description box below. Make sure you ring the bell when you, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I upload sets of things. Like I've already done a bracelet, earrings, and necklace set, and then another necklace and earring set. So this one's probably not going to have anything with it unless I do a bracelet. I may do a bracelet. I don't know. I don't have any more of the wooden beads, so probably not. But as far as the other sets go, they're all from the Magical Mystery Bead Box. So check that link in the description box below and hit the bell, subscribe and hit the bell, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! So there the pets are. They're not used to me being up here this late at night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. They're used to just coming up here, laying down on their little beds and going to sleep. And so I come up here and turn all the lights on and they're like, what the heck? So yeah, this is where they sleep. They got their little beds over there and they sleep together every night on their little beds. Sadie's steadfastly ignoring me. Oh, look, she's yawning. She's tired. The cat's like, I'm not even going to stay. I'm not even going to look at you. Yeah, I came up here to the computer, and normally they go to bed about 10 o'clock at night, and they're in bed until the morning, so they don't know what to think about me being up here right now. Alright, Sadie yawned real big. Night-night, guys.